you, Barrister Kemi Lawal and Oluwanifemi Raphael, and to everyone whose birthday is today. We celebrate you today on Mindscope. Thank you so much. And so today on Mindscope, our focus is really inspirational. We're going to hear there's the story, an inspiring story of a young man, a dynamic man. He's in the studio right here and he's here to share with us. He has a very, I must say, rich, inspiring story. How it took him 24 years to get a BSc. I'm sure you're wondering what really happened. Just pay attention. So it is a great privilege to introduce to you today on Mindscope Gbenga Olukosi. Gbenga, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Wow, such a baritone voice.
Yeah.
So Gbenga, earlier I said you refer yourself as your designation as Africa Fearless Capacity Hunter. What does that mean?
Oh, that is what I'm all about. That is actually what helped me to gain relevance in workspace and gathering of intellectuals. I won't be here in this studio today if not because of capacity. I've been able to discover that there is so much in capacity building.
Okay.
And if you build it, you can go anywhere, you can be relevant anywhere. So I'm here and I'm out to hunt for capacities in people, especially the younger generations.
Wow.
So I'm actually a hunter.
Wow, amazing. I love that. So to your story, 24 years.
Yes.
To get a BSc. What happened?
Well, they said a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step, right? And that step is the most important word there for me in that statement. As at 1997 that I finished my secondary school, I did not maximize that first step to pass my WAEC at the very first attempt. And a lot of things gone wrong at that time. You know, I normally tell people there is no fashion in writing any exam twice. There is no fashion whatsoever. There is no beauty, there's no honor in writing exam or any program 2 times.
Interesting.
Because if you fail to pass it at the very first attempt, you might not be able to cope with the distractions that will hit you afterwards. So that distractions hit me so bad that I lost focus. A lot of things started calling for my attention.
After your first attempt?
After my first attempt.
You failed?
Yes.
Okay.
I would not say I failed. It was, humans were not created to fail. Events can fail, programs can fail, exam can fail, but the writer of the exam cannot fail. All I need is just to go back there and do it again. All right? So there's no failure in me. So I lost focus. And since then, I've been trying to write it again, to rewrite it again, and continue. So, and because of different influences here and there, friends, family calling your attention, activity, come and do this, come and do that, you know, it took me so long a time. And since 1997, I've been running after how to get a first degree in Nigeria. It was so important to me to get, because how can a young man of my caliber not have a BSc and I'll be walking around streets of the world? So I must have that, and it's in my mind to make sure I get it. So I've been running after writing exam over and over until I finally was able to write that exam and pass.
How many years after the first attempt?
After I wrote 4 more attempts, so including GC, SSC, and all of that. So after the 4th attempt, I got all my papers. So I can now proceed to writing JAMB. And writing JAMB at that time too, a lot of things were calling for my attention. I could not focus really in the real sense of focus. So I could not still meet up with the cutoff point to gain admission into university at that first attempt. So I wrote that too severally. And this is happening to a lot of people out there right now. But I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up. I want to write this exam and make my papers and continue. All right. So finally, 2005, I was able to gain admission to a higher institution, and this time around I was able to pursue a course that I've always desired to pursue.
If I may ask, were you able to analyze or understand the reasons why your results, you couldn't meet up with the required level of excellence at the examinations?
All right, the blame is on nobody else but me.
Okay.
All right, I take personal responsibility of whatever happens to me, whether success or failure.
Okay.
All right, that exam was meant to be written and passed, because every arrangement has been in place to ensure that. It now depends on the writer of the exam to prepare so well and pass. So I will not blame my poor outing, because it was a very bad outing for me that year, and I will not blame that poor performance to my environment, my educational environment, or to my background, because the reason why you are on the ground is not because of your background. All right, so I won't blame it on anybody. It was as a result of my poor preparation, and poor preparation produces poor performance. I could not prepare well enough to handle the exam before me. That is the only reason. Nobody else can take the blame but the writer of the exam.
In terms of poor preparation,
yes,
are you referring to maybe you didn't have enough materials, you didn't have enough books? I want us to get to the root of that.
Yes, I had all of that.
You had the books.
I had the books. I had the time.
Wow.
I had the money, because
some people would say, well, I didn't have people to support me, or my parents couldn't buy books. In your own case,
I had everything, and so do all of us. We have everything to prepare for the task ahead of us. My parents sent me to school. They paid money. They paid school fees. They were giving me money every day. They were feeding me to be able to concentrate on my
So
academics.
when you get to school, you were faced with so many distractions.
So many things.
Okay.
And
I want you to get to the root of that, so that people listening can understand. When we're talking about poor preparation.
Poor preparations.
Exactly.
Now, your business as a student in that school at that time is to read, study, and pass. You have no other business. Now, by the time friends are now introducing you to drugs, into girlfriends and boyfriend kinds of thing, you get distracted when they start introducing you to taking alcohol, going to parties, and following after things that are not worthy of your time. When you refuse to manage your time well, you concentrate your time on things that are not relevant, that are not productive, you will be distracted. And these were things calling for attention around me at that time.
Great. So let's move on.
All right.
So 1997, the first attempt, you had 4 more attempts. The 4th attempt, you made it.
Yes.
Okay, so you entered into university.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the 24 years, let's talk about that waiting period, because your book, Worth Waiting For.
Yes.
One of the tips I got from here is you need to learn how to wait effectively.
Yes.
And your waiting period is not wasting period.
Not at all.
So in your case, connect with us. What were those lessons?
Now, 24 years, a lot of things happened. After I lost the opportunity to pass my papers at the first attempt, second and third, I realized that some of my friends began to leave for higher institutions. I began to see that they were progressing, they were getting admission. As a matter of fact, they got admission to school, they finished that program, they still came back to meet me at home. And I was seeing all of that. And at a point, I was almost tempted to be bittered, to get angry, to condemn myself, to give up on myself. But I refused to do that. I said to myself, Gbenga, anybody can go. Anybody can go to any length in terms of success and achievement. Don't be bitter, don't be jealous. I remembered I sat down and I said to myself, let them go. Let them go to wherever they want to go. Success is not competition. But I said to myself, wherever or whenever we are going to be connecting back again, wherever we are going to be meeting again, I told myself that they are going to meet me relevant. They are going to see me doing something that is worth celebrating.
At what age were you then?
That was 2025.
Wow.
Because I finished my secondary school at age 18.
Okay.
All right. So I told myself that whenever they are going to be meeting me again, my old schoolmates, my old colleagues, I will not be hiding my face. I will not be running away from them. I want to be able to look them eyeball to eyeball, have a handshake, and introduce good stuff to each other.
Wow.
They will see me that, oh, this guy is not doing bad. I'm doing well for myself.
So what were those practical steps you took?
They are the 24 secrets that I shared in that book, Worth Waiting For. I said to myself, I am worth waiting for. The world is waiting for something in me that will help my generation. So I must ensure that I allow those things to speak out, to manifest. Immediately, I realized that I was not able to gain admission into tertiary institution. I look into education from another angle, from another perspective. Tertiary education is not the only option available for education. Education is not limited to the four walls of universities alone. So I started building capacity immediately. What can I do to position myself rightly when these guys come back?
The guys?
Yes.
Your former friends?
My former friends, whether local or foreign, anywhere, my age mates, any of them, we will be able to compete back to back. So I started building capacity, and that's the conversation today. Capacity building is the core of every man's achievement in life.
And so what were the very first steps?
I went online. I used technology as a platform for education. I could get education online. I started falling in love with trainings, workshops, seminars, events that are geared towards education.
Okay.
You see me around those events. I love to sit down under speakers that can motivate me, that can inspire me. And by that, they are growing me. They are developing me. So I am passionate about growth and personal development.
So you focused and you concentrated.
I concentrated. And I was able to get empowered, to get developed in doing those activities. I volunteered several times. I have an open mind. I want to learn. I want to unlearn. I want to relearn. I want to do away with things that I felt I've known before. I want to learn new things.
In the same time, you had it at the back of your mind that you're still going to get that BSc, right?
Yes, I had it.
You never give up.
I never give up. I was always pursuing it. Every opportunity. I had written several exams, but they were not actually my focus. I was discovering myself. Who am I?
I love that.
Who am I?
So that waiting period, one of the tips or one of the benefits for you were able to discover your hidden potential.
My hidden potentials.
Oh, good.
I had done a marketing program, a marketing course.
Okay.
In all these crash courses in satellite campuses and all, but I was not really enjoying them. It's not my focus. But when I found myself in the area of communication, I had this peace of mind that I have found it.
Wow.
Gbenga, this is your field of play.
That's good.
This is your...
So you found out your strength.
This is my strength.
Good.
I could dwell there and do anything. I can't be caught unaware. So I stay right there, and I was developing myself. And in the period of 24 years, you'll be surprised that I was invited, one of the job invitations, I was invited for an interview, and they saw my CV, and they were like, oh, I don't think we can do anything with this CV, because the CV was just upside down, scattered. There was no any important qualification that you can marry together and give the person a job. So before they could finish saying that, I looked the man straight in the face. I said, sir, please disregard that CV that you have on your desk. I look at him eyeball to eyeball. Please, if you concentrate on my CV, you will not give me this job. Can you just allow me 5 minutes? Just give me 5 minutes of your time to have a conversation around what you want to get solved in this company. And the man said, okay. And that was the first mistake they made, allowing me to talk for 5 minutes.
Wow.
And I started talking. They gave me 5 minutes. I ended up spending 25 minutes without them knowing. I said, see, your company is brilliant, so fantastic. You are doing so well. You have what it takes to compete with any brands out there. But, sir, the only problem you have is that you lack visibility. I'm going to put your company on the internet. You are going to be known globally. We are going to design website. We're going to create.
So you got the job.
That very day I got the job. No, normally when they don't want to give you a job, they will tell you that we'll get back to you.
To you.
After I finished them in 25 minutes, the man said, okay, Mr. Gbenga, I think I would like to work with you. Right there, I gave it to them back. I said, sir, I will get back to you. No, they're supposed to tell me they will get back to me.
Yes.
No, I was the one telling them now that I will get back to you, sir.
I'm wondering where this confidence,
yes,
Gbenga, this confidence, because I can see you have a strong personality.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm thinking, how did you build? Because I want to believe you weren't like this 24 years back.
No, I wasn't.
Were you?
I wasn't.
And so tell us what happened. The challenges, were they the ones that strengthened your resolve? I want to know where this confidence is coming
You
from.
cannot give what you don't have.
Okay.
What you are seeing today has always been there as potentials, as deposits. But you need to fan it to flame by attending those places that I talked about earlier. You know, those events helped me to become a man I am today, to become this confident, to become this energetic when it comes to delivery of capacity. It didn't end there that time.
Okay.
They gave me that job with an official car, and by the time they will be presenting that car to me, it turned out to be a manual, and I can't drive a manual. I can only drive automatic. So I told the man, sir, I cannot take this car. It has to be automatic. They said, you will have told us now. I said, well, I don't know, you'll be giving me manual. The man was so confused. He doesn't know what is, because I have given them the right candidate for the job. He could not afford going back to recruiting another person.
He needed you.
He needed me. I knew that you can't miss me. So I told him, this car, I'm not taking it, sir. I'm not taking it. He started begging, okay, what can we do? He started negotiating. Okay.
Wow.
They came up with an option of sending me to a driving school. The company paid a driving school for me to learn how to drive, just to be on that job.
Oh, because of our time, Gbenga, I know you have a lot you want to pour out. But right now, can you share maybe 2 tips, W? Just give us 2 tips that you've written here on what it takes really to get that goal, to be purposeful in life.
Now, take your waiting moment seriously. If you miss that waiting period, you will not be relevant again, because that waiting period is your moment of preparation. It's the moment of equipping. And I am not writing this book to encourage people to wait. That's not the message in this book. Not that I'm encouraging you to keep waiting, that God will do it, the Lord will do it. Not that. That's not the message. But what you do with the time of waiting. There is a room they call waiting room in offices. Many of us just get there and sleep off, waiting for the man in the other room to invite us in. You are not supposed to sleep off in a waiting room, for God's sake. Those books, those magazines on the desk at waiting rooms are meant to be read. Probably, maybe what you have to tell the man on the other room might be inside that magazine on that desk, and you are not reading. So take your waiting period seriously. Use it like your life depends on it. And that is engage
your skills.
Your skills.
Discover yourself.
Exactly. Because if you miss your waiting period, you will not, because your world is waiting on the other end to receive what you are bringing to them. So don't show up to your world empty-handed. Don't show up to your world telling them stories. Sir, what do you bring for us? Today, by the grace of God, I can present my book, What Waiting For, to my world. Go and read.
And some of those friends that despised you then,
yes,
they're going to read this.
They are reading this now.
Wow. Some of them have started attending your training.
Exactly. What I did then got me into the studio today. I wouldn't be here if not because I waited in the right sense of waiting.
Okay, for listeners who want to reach out to you, Gbenga Olukosi.
Yes, ma'am.
You're on Facebook, right?
I am.
Okay.
Gbenga Olukosi.
Gbenga Olukosi.
All across social media.
Okay, that's good. Double.
You know, the part I liked most for me was don't show up to your world empty-handed. And before you came in, we were talking about creating a niche for yourself, finding your niche. Everybody is just following the Joneses. You should stand out. And then if you have people who are standing out, then be outstanding.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Be outstanding.
Yes.
Your own uniqueness. That's what you need to bring to the table.
He was able to discover his own niche.
Very right.
Yeah, it's good to read about his book, but what are you doing for yourself? So take the chance now. Not tomorrow, not the last minute. Start now.
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 Very
Take
good.
the chance now.
Take the chance. And
Right.
you must never forget, dear listener,
right.
a right attitude
Wins
wins always.